Welcome to Sikhcast, brought to you by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.
Good Fateh, welcome to the Sikhcast. In this episode, we're going to be continuing our series called The Persian Voice in the Guru Granth Sahib. Our researcher, Asha Kaur, will be taking a close look at a Sabad by Guru Arjan Sahib to discuss its Persian influences. But before that, here is the Sabad recited by Parminder Kaur Chanana.
Satnam Vaheguru Sahib Ji Maru Mahalla Panjwa alah agam khudāī bande chhod ख्याल दुनिया के धंधे alah agam khudāī bande chhod ख्याल दुनिया के धंधे होए पै खाक फकीर मुसाफिर एहो दरवेश कबूल दरा सच निवाज यकीन मुसला मनसा मार निवार आसा देह मसीत मन मौलाना कलम खुदाई पाक खरा सरासरयत लै कमावो तरीकत तर्क खोज टोलावो मार फत मन मारो अबदाला मिलो हकीकत जित फिर ना मरा कुरान कतेब दिल माहे कमाही 10 ओ रात रखो बदराही पंज मरद सिदक लै बादो खैर सबूरी कबूल परा मक्का मिहर रोजा पै खाका विसत पीर लफज कमाए अंदाजा नूर नूर मुस्क खुदाया बंदगी अले आला हुजरा सच कमावे सोई काजी जो दिल सोदे सोई हाजी सो मुल्ला मल ओन निवारे सो दरवेश जिस सिफत धरा सब्बे वक्त सब्बे कर वेला खालक याद दिले में मौला तस्बी याद करो 10 मर्दन सुनत सील बंधान बरा दिल में जानो सब फिलहाला खिल खाना बिरादर हमू जंजाला मीर मलक उमरे फानाया एक मुकाम खुदाए दरा अवल सिफत दूजी साबूरी तीजे हलेमी चौथे खैरी पंजवे पंजे इकत मुकामे ए 5 वक्त तेरे अपर परा सगली जान करो मोतीफा बद अमल छोड़ करो हत कुजा खुदाए एक बुझ देवो बांगा बुर्ग बर खुरदार खरा हक हलाल बखोरो खाना दिल दरियाव धोवो मैलाना पीर पछाणे बिस्ती सोई अजरायल ना तोज ठरा काया किरदार औरत यकीना रंग तमासे मान हकीना ना पाक पाक कर हदूर हदीसा साबत सूरत दस्तार सिरा मुसलमान मोम दिल होवे अंतर की मल दिल ते धोवे दुनिया रंग न आवे नेड़े ज्यों हुक्म पाठ क्यों पाक हरा। जाको मेहर मेहर मेहरवाना, सोई मर्द मर्द मर्दाना। सोई सेख मसायक हाजी, सो बंदा जिस नजर नरा। कुदरत कादर करण करीमा, सिफत मोहब्बत अथाह रहीमा। हक हुकम सच खुदाया, बुझ नानक बंद खलास तरा। हक हुकम सच खुदाया, बुझ नानक बंद खलास तरा। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
O servant of the unattainable. This Sabad, revealed in Rag Maru by Guru Arjan Sahib, uses a high degree of Persian terminology in order to illuminate a reflection on Islamic practice. Aspects of the Sufi path to the divine are called upon and reimagined in particular. As this is a longer Sabad, it is helpful to reflect on the messages here in stages, as there are particular emphases from beginning to end. For the sake of uncovering the overlooked intricacies of the Persian voice in the Guru Granth Sahib, words brought into historic South Asian and Sikh lexicon via the spread of the Persian language will be elaborated on in particular. The first lines offer a call for humility, grounding, and reframing. Guru Arjan Sahib calls out to all of us, the bande, or servants of Khuda, the Persian term for the creator, of Allah, the Arabic and Islamic term for the creator, who is agam, meaning unattainable in Sanskrit. He calls for the abandonment of khiyal, or illusory imaginations, which tie us to what we fail to perceive as a fleeting world or dunya. It is time to take our perception of self down a notch, so to speak, and to embody the humility not just of the humble, traveling dervish or Sufi saint, but the dust that lies upon their feet. With this degree of humility, we flow into the path of the Creator, and we are kabul, or accepted, at the Creator's door. Now that a new framing has been established, Guru Arjan Sahib shifts into a reflection on how one may orient their practice, speaking here in an Islamic context that would resonate with Muslim audiences of the era. He speaks of the musalla, or prayer space, of Mecca, of roja, or fasting, of the religious teacher, or Maulana. Guru Arjan Sahib invokes aspects of Islam as a whole, such as Sharia, in addition to particular frameworks that Sufis use to guide their path to the divine. For Sufis, Sharia is the body of knowledge that the entirety of the Islamic public is to be aware of, and therefore the starting stage in the process of full access to the divine. The next stage is to become versed in the knowledge provided by a tariqat, or Sufi order, where a murshid conveys knowledge only comprehensible by a select, learned few. This allows the development of the third stage, or hakikat, which is knowledge that stems directly from the divine source. Once a Sufi reaches the fourth or final stage of marifat, spiritual truth flows naturally and no longer has to be actively sought, for the immersion in the divine is so complete that each action and each word spoken is a blissful experience. The Sufi intention to become so immersed in oneness that each experience is blissful is one that fits within the Sikh paradigm. However, in Sikh practice, there is no divide between knowledge that is publicly or privately available. One needs no master or teacher besides the Guru, and the Guru is available to all. Furthermore, there is no hierarchy that delineates the steps of being further or closer to the divine. Everything in Sikhi is a matter of orientation. A path is chiseled out and formed when one chooses the way of the Guru day in and day out. Repetition or knowledge of texts does not inherently reorient. One must choose to absorb messages in their heart. A practice only carries meaning if it forms an orientation toward oneness. Guru Arjan Sahib speaks of the importance of an acute awareness of the 10 feminine senses, the 5 masculine vices, of maintaining khair or benevolence, sabri or patience, and of focusing not just on far-flung mental images of Mecca or a paradise in the afterlife, but on the immediacy of sun, light, and fragrance all around us, all formed by Allah. The next repeated message is to remember that man-made authority can be misleading. The Haji who has been to Mecca and the Qazi who is versed in Islamic legal scholarship may purport to have divine authority, but their words are meaningless if they are not committed to practicing truth or searching and purifying their own heart at every time or vakt. There is a shift away from external symbols again, such as the tasbih or rosary, and toward internal work, in this case, working on bridling one's vices. Regarding man-made authority and power structures, Guru Arjan Sahib says, "You must know that these clans, these brothers, these headmen or mir, these malak or rulers, these omre or nobles, they are all fani. They are temporary, fleeting, mortal. They are janjal, a loud, busy, noisy distraction from that which is true and eternal. Hukam in Sufism is a spiritual destination, one that cannot be taken away. Guru Arjan Sahib reminds us that the only maqam is the Creator itself. The only servitude or bandagi we should submit to is that of the Creator." Guru Arjan Sahib then speaks again on reframing sets of prescribed practices as sets of values. Aval, first, one absorbs sifat, or the attributes of the divine, through the act of praising the divine. Second, there's a call to absorb sabri, or patience, a principle invoked regularly in Islam as well. In essence, all of one's maudifa, which stems from the word vazifa or duty, can be inscribed in values rather than rituals. One need not wait for the call to prayer or the bang to hear the divine. One does not need to rely on a man-made instrument or bug, which is a Persian word for trumpet. We are surrounded by spiritual knowledge and riches at all times and can experience a state of being barhodar, or prosperous. When we are so immersed that haq, or righteous truth, becomes the food we consume, or bakhare, when the darya, or ocean of the divine, washes over the pollution of our mind, we can attain a state of beheshti, or heaven, while still living. We can live in the wondrous tamasha of divine truth, and live in a vastness that extends far beyond the confines of the hadiths, the secondary texts in Islam, or the dastar, which here specifically refers to the Islamic turban worn by the learned. This vastness renders man-made authority insignificant. Within this new orientation, the ego is eradicated, values are pak or pure, and we are no longer guided by fear. Fear of death is at the root of many acts of wrongdoing by humans. But once this fear is let go, the need for the threat of retribution melts away as well. This liberation from fear and dozakh, or hell, is represented by a reference to Azrael, the angel of death in the Abrahamic faiths. Guru Arjan Sahib lived and sacrificed his life in service of the Sikh path, yet he affirms that should one continue to live by the Muslim path, all the wisdom revealed here remains accessible. He tells his audience that a true Muslim is one that is kind-hearted and pure, one that stays unbothered like the flowers and greenery, and unaffected by distracting temptations. The Creator is omnipotent through the ultimate creative power, or qudrat, and performs endless kareem, or grace, to all, as we are all manifestations of Ikonkar. One must simply choose to give this ever-present grace the appropriate najari or nazari or consideration. The praise or sifat and love, muhabbat, of the compassionate, the Rahim, Creator, are unfathomable. Should we work tirelessly to attune and orient ourselves to the hukam, or true command, our bondage we feel in this heavy world will be finished.
You are listening to Sikhcast by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.